Hi, welcome to Sun on Sports. I'm Mike Shaughnessy, and if you are at all familiar with the rock group Steelers Wheel, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say I've got clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right.
Here I am back.
Otherwise known as John Sherman to my far left, Greg Clevin to my immediate left, and to my right, Nick Clark. Our first segment today is going to be about the girls hockey playoffs, which in some cases and in some sections have already started. Nick, you have some teams playing in the Section 6 tournament where Hopkins is the #1 seed. What's the outlook there?
Well, the outlook is that it might be a pretty interesting tournament, Mike. You mentioned Hopkins is the #1 seed.
And #1 ranked in the state.
Yeah, and they've kind of been up in the top 2 or 3 all year long. That said, there are some sneaky teams in this tournament that might be able to give the Royals a run. Their semifinal game, they're going to beat Cooper, obviously, in the first round. And then they're going to play either Armstrong or North Metro. I've watched both of those teams the last couple of weeks, and they are both good enough to at least skate with them. North Metro has been probably one of the hotter teams in the last week or so. Last week alone, they beat Maple Grove in overtime. Maple Grove was ranked in the top 15. And then they skated to a 3-3 tie with Breck, which is the #1 ranked team in Class 1A. And then they beat Mayo to close out the year, Rochester Mayo, Saturday 4-1. They're the 5th seed. Armstrong's the 4th seed, just primarily based on a 2-1 win Armstrong had over North Metro during the regular season. Both teams have fantastic goaltenders, Armstrong and Zika Kribdik, and North Metro and Kayla Croder. Armstrong did lose its #2 leading scorer for the season with a broken collarbone last week, Cassie Leone. That's going to put a real damper into their chances. I think North Metro will be able to win that first round game, and I think they'll be able to push Hopkins. On the bottom side of the back bracket, Benilde St. Margaret's has been playing really well as of late, and then that bottom game is extremely intriguing. I think Maple Grove and Wayzata. Wayzata hasn't had the best of years, but they still have enough talent where they can go out and they play a tough schedule. So they've played the type of teams they're going to see in this tournament. If we're going to see a 7-2 in girls hockey this year in the section playoffs, this might be it. But Hopkins might be the clear-cut favorite. John, I don't know. If there's really anybody that can beat them. There's teams that can skate with them. I mean, what's your take?
Nick, we've seen it many times in the playoffs that you have a 7-2 or a 6-3. Especially in this section, I don't think we're going to see an 8 beating a 1. Hopkins is just too good, and you probably won't see anyone touch this Hopkins team. It looks like it's Hopkins and everybody else to me, with Becky Cordum, Cara Johnson, Kelly Bilodeau in goal. Hopkins is a stacked team. They're coming into this with a record of 20 wins, 3 losses, and a tie. They're the conference champions in the Classic Lake, did not lose in the Classic Lake. I just don't see them losing this year. They're kind of the team of destiny going to the state this year at least, and then we'll see what happens once they get there.
They've been snake bitten the last few years, though, in these section playoffs. I know they've had a good team the last couple of years, and for whatever reason, they haven't been able to get out of this section, so maybe this is their year.
Big time they've been snake bit, especially last year. This year, I think the difference is Cordum's a senior, a top candidate for Ms. Hockey, and I think Cordum is going to carry it this year for Hopkins. She's going to be the key piece that brings Hopkins this section title.
I think we should mention all 4 of these quarterfinal games will be played this Saturday, Valentine's Day, February 14th at Parade Ice Guarding, starting at noon, and then they're just going to play them back to back until the quarterfinals are all decided. Semifinals are February 18th, and the section final will be played at 8 p.m. Next Saturday, the 21st.
Right now, unless my plans change, what a great way to spend Valentine's Day.
John, you've also been tracking one of the more intriguing Class A section tournaments in the state. We have two of the best teams in the state in that classification playing in one section. Breck and Blake are dueling for the Section 5A championship.
That's going to be a great section, Mike. Great point. Blake and Breck, the tradition is there, the rivalry is there. They've played twice this year already, each team winning 1 time. I believe both 1-goal games. And it's going to be just a slugfest if they get to that point. However, don't overlook third-seeded Mound West Tonka. They're a high-scoring team. Very, very good team. They go deeper than they have in the past. That's going to be a pretty good team in there too. And then I'll give you a sleeper pick for that section, although I think it is between Blake and Breck. Look out for St. Louis Park. They're a very high-scoring team. They can put them on the board. Carly Cubander, Lisa Martinson, some very good skaters on that Park team. Ellen Sackerson is another name I'll throw out at you. And Hannah Broderson is their 8th grade goalie. She just keeps getting better every week. Best player in the section, hands down, Sally Kamerick from the Blake Bears, another Miss Hockey finalist, and I think she's going to be an impact player, win or lose, in this section.
I think another team in that section that could, sneak up on some people is Orono. They're the 4th seed. They have a top line as dangerous as most teams in the state of Minnesota. Casey Anderson was top 5 in the state in final scoring. I think she led the state in assists this year. Alyssa Flemmer had upwards of 60 points, and then the 9th grader on that line, Maddie Leducki, had a 45-point season. So they don't have a lot of depth behind that line, but if they can get enough goals out of that top line, they could put a scare into somebody too.
That 7:30 game between St. Louis Park and Orono should be just a tremendous game. I look for a high score, maybe 6-5, maybe 5-4, and offense coming from both teams. There are going to be some tremendous rushes in that game.